Hi, welcome to Mommy's Locker Room. I'm Nyasia, and we have Kyle here today, and Kyle's going to tell us about himself.
Hi, so my name is Kyle Collier. I am originally from Ridgeville, South Carolina, and I've been residing in Charleston, South Carolina for about 3 to 4 years now. I recently completed my Bachelor of Science degree in Public Health from the College of Charleston, and I'm in the process of obtaining my Master's at Florida A&M University in Public Health.
So tell us what your concentration is for your master's degree.
So I'm going to specifically be focusing in epidemiology and within healthcare, equity and equality as well.
Tell us a little bit about health equity.
Okay, so health equity is basically differences in health in a public health standpoint, which is very broad. And that could be differences in terms of anything from location, gender, sex, anything you can think of, honestly.
So with the coronavirus going on right now, we have different communities, different sex, different genders, and things like that. So how do you feel about the coronavirus and health equity, like for your community, the African American community?
Okay, so in terms of my community, our community, I feel like us as African Americans, like we really need to start taking the pandemic, which honestly seems like it's going to be an endemic, a little more seriously because of the fact that a lot of us are dying because we are the people with a lot of underlying health issues like diabetes and obesity and respiratory diseases that could lead to us if we contract the disease or virus, that could lead to death in the long run, and that's something that we want to avoid at all costs when all odds are already against us in society.
So do you think that us as the African American community, do you think that we have the resources and knowledge that we need to go forward to get tested and possibly be cured or whatever the case may be so that we are on the safe side?
Yes and no. I say yes because we have access to the information. However, it depends on the individual in terms of whether or not they actually seek the information. So if you're not seeking the information, you just don't know. And not saying that word of mouth is a bad thing, but usually that's what we do within our community. We just go based off what someone else says, and that may not always be true. Like, for example, I recently heard a friend of mine say that when you contract the virus once, you can't contract it again, and that's not true.
Yeah.
I mean, you may have the antibodies for it, but it's not a guarantee that you won't get it again. So I feel like we just need to actually pay attention as individuals in terms of our surroundings and our family surroundings, I guess you could say, as well as just our basic interactions, just to make sure that we're keeping ourselves safe.
And I heard the same thing, that if you catch the virus, then you can't catch it again. Mm-hmm. But then I heard like people who actually had the virus went to the doctor. The doctor told them that they're more likely to catch it again. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the information that's being spread around could be false.
Exactly.
So you have to educate yourself on that end.
And then on top of that, a lot of people are also scared to actually go to the doctor just because of the fact that they feel like they would be putting themselves in danger by going to the doctor. I mean, you are, but you would. Well, I don't want to say you are.
Yeah.
Because
once you
never
leave the
know
house,
exactly, you're at your own risk. But it's like at the same time, you got to do something.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think about everything?
So my thoughts on everything is, I know a lot of states are doing a lot of things different than what South Carolina is doing, and I think that with South Carolina being like number 3, ranking number 3, I think that we as the people need to be more precautious of like what we're doing. Like just because we can leave the house and just because things are open does not mean that we have to be there.
Exactly.
And now that things are opening, families are trying to do gatherings, having cookouts, and that's really how it's getting spread because some people don't know they have it and they're at a family function, and so they're, spreading it off to other people who are, coming out and trying to get out the house and things like that.
Exactly.
I don't remember what state it was, but I know there's one state that's like you can only go to Walmart or whatever's open on certain days, like depending on your last name. And so like I know that's kind of extreme, but I think things like that we need to consider only because we are just going crazy because things are opening, the mall is open, Walmart is open, and all of those things. And I honestly think that we need to just close down for 2 weeks because China had it and they closed down literally they couldn't leave their house, and then after 2 weeks they went back to work, and now they don't have it as bad as we do. And so I feel like we should shut down. Walmart needs to shut down for 2 weeks. We need to get a notification or something to say
Amber Alert.
Right.
If necessary,
we're gonna shut down for 2 weeks. Y'all go get y'all tissue, toilet paper, and everything like that, and y'all need to stay in the house. If you get caught outside the house, like when they did the curfew, you get caught outside the house, you're gonna get fined. And so we stay in the house for 2 weeks, and then once 2 weeks is up, we slowly go back into Walmart and then all these other little things.
But to play devil's advocate, no, you said so. Within, if we ended up closing down for 2 weeks again, just to I guess let everything settle down a little bit, do you think that it would be best to set it up like how you said, whatever state it was that had it set up to where by last name? Do you think that would work? Because people would probably just be out here
finesse it.
Exactly.
It's easy to get an ID and say this is me. Or,
exactly.
It's going to take too much to go to the store and show your ID. And sometimes it takes that, but I feel like if it only takes 2 weeks to quarantine, then everybody quarantine for the 2 weeks, then we should be good.
Exactly.
So that's my thought on it, is because if it only takes 2 weeks to quarantine, because right now they're not giving you no medicine or anything like that when you go to the doctor. It's you need to stay in the house for 14 days. And so I feel like if we can stay in the house for 14 days, that's where Walmart closed, Dollar General, the mall, everything closed, parks shut down, and everybody just kind of sit in their house for 14 days. And then the Walmart opens up, and then we kind of just only a certain amount of people can be here. And then, kind of gradually open back up to things. Then I think things would be fine, and we wouldn't go into 2021 where we at right now.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy. And then a lot of people, and then what makes it sad is think about Atlanta. The governor is suing the mayor of Atlanta, or tried to. I don't know where that process is right now, because she wanted to go back to phase 1, or just make things a little more strict, so to speak. But I don't know. I feel because legislation or people that are in power, excuse me, so to speak, aren't taking it as seriously. That's where a lot of people. That's why a lot of people just don't care.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's something that we cannot change. But that's the way things are right now. Exactly. What about you and health equity? Do you think you've ever been in a area or experienced or seen anything dealing with health equity?
So while I was in undergrad, I worked at the Boys and Girls Club, and the area that I was in with those kids, I think in that area they didn't have the resources and things like that. And so I know here where I'm at now in Charleston, not saying that we don't have the resources, but I think there's certain areas where people have the resources, they just don't know how to get to the resources. And then a lot of people are scared because health insurance and things like that, and they think like if they go to the doctor, they're not gonna, they're gonna have to pay for this and pay for that, and a lot of us don't have, or not working right now because of the coronavirus. And so I think that's kind of where it's like where the barrier is with the health insurance and things like that, is in healthcare and things like that, is because people know like you got to pay copay for this and copay for that, and then if you're not getting no money in, then they're trying to figure out how they're going to eat and make sure that their bills are paid and stuff like that. So I think that's where the barrier is for us, for South Carolina. But then I also seen how MUSC is having like free drive-through testing and stuff like that. And I heard a lot of comments about like, oh, I don't want to go there because they probably using the same swab, the swab everybody knows, and so it's like all of these different things, but at the same time, it's like we have the resources, but it's just how do we receive the resources, or how do we, take action with our resources. So I think that's where our barrier is.
And then I also feel like, since you brought that up, like how you said people think that they're using the same swabs, I feel like when people hear the words, or they hear like news outlets say that they're rationing or they're running out of supplies, I think that's where that fear comes from, and that also comes from just not knowing. Like, why would you use the same swab? That could have your test results all messed up. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like, well, being downtown, me specifically, of course I stayed on the side that the College of Charleston is on, which is, relatively the better side of downtown. But in other boroughs, like in the borough that's closest to the interstate, where majority of the black community inhabits, it's like only a food line, and you do not see any doctor's offices or anything like that there. So their only options in terms of food is a food line, and then you don't have a doctor's office, and I'm sure they probably can't afford the other options like Harris Teeter, and then you have a Publix, and then the other physician offices, if there is any, on the peninsula, period. But like, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. But I think that's where we as people can do better. I mean, whether you, like, if you know someone can't afford it, especially with everything that's going on, like you said, people are unemployed. Everybody's on a fixed income. So I feel like physicians' offices and anything, honestly, if they could help out, I'm not saying go broke, but have a heart, But that's hard to come by.
Thank you, Kyle, for coming out today in the Mommy's Locker Room, taking that risk with your mask off during the pandemic.
It's been real. Follow me on Instagram, Ktel_.
I'll drop it down in the